On today's show, Mercedes reveals the EQS in full, lots of Tesla news, and Audi Q4, plus, well, a lot more. So, let's get into the news. G'day and welcome, my name's Chris and I talk about everything happening in the world of renewables, electric vehicles and more from an Australian perspective. If you're new to the channel, thanks for joining us. Consider subscribing, it does help the channel, it really does. Think about you want to support us and you like what we're doing here, consider joining us over there on Patreon, where from as little as $2.50 per month, or that's 60 cents per week, you get early access to news, polls, behind the scenes, and a lot more that you just don't get here. And a big shout out to my producers, Nigel Farrier, Ashley Hill, and Tessa Nagong. Okay, let's get into the news, shall we? And first up, Yamaha has unveiled its 350 kilowatt motor. This interior permanent magnet synchronous motor is the industry's highest class in output density and operates on 800 volts. I covered this motor previously, but now this is actually market reality. And well, it's a game changer. Why? Because its compact construction means that it can be installed into small spaces. It also treats the mechanical and electrical components as a single entity. That means that they integrate both the gears and inverter into one unit. And in truly exciting bit is that Yamaha have designed this unit to either be used as a single motor or multiples. Imagine, hey Jimmy. Yeah, Bob. You know what's better than 2? 4? 4. Yeah, 350 kilowatts times by 4, like multiplied by 4. That's, hang on, bit of math. That is a cool 1400 kilowatts. Hypercar territory indeed. For instance, the new Tesla Model S, the 2022 model, shall we say, the plaid version, that's got 1020 horsepower, or 750 kilowatts of power from 3 motors. Imagine what Tesla could do if they install 4 of these bad puppies. That would be like 1877 horses. Man, that thing will go. For my international viewers, you might call this sort of car a small cabin pickup. In Australia, we call them Yewts, and I'm proud to say that this, an EV version, the Yewt, that's actually spelled Y-E-W-T, will be hitting our roads very soon. And get this, price starting at $26,000. With first deliveries expected to start late this year, Ace Electric Vehicles hope to produce about 50,000 units a year, with roughly 70% of them being exported overseas in kit form. Spec-wise, these things will be good fit for, well, most delivery businesses. Weighing just 900 kilograms, and the Yewt can actually carry up to 500 kilograms. Has maximum speed of 100 kilometers per hour and a range of 150 to 200 kilometers. Now, about that cheap price. 26K? Well, it's cheap because customers actually rent the battery from around $5 to $7 a day, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. In reality, what that means is a price of about $1,800 to $2,500 per year for that battery, which actually is very equivalent to what anyone would spend on petrol per year. But if you have access to solar or free public charging, this EV Yewt is going to be very cost competitive and very popular indeed. Audi fans rejoice. They've just unveiled its Q4 e-tron in 2 forms, a compact SUV and sportsback bodies, built on VW's MEB platform. With 2 battery sizes of 52 or 77 kilowatt hours, this very Audi-looking car is capable, Audi claims, of 341 to 520 kilometers on the WLTP cycle. Now, can I just pause a second? Really, Audi? Haven't you learned that the e-tron, which is a very thirsty EV at 23.1 kilowatts per hour, this thing, sure, it's lighter by about 300 kilograms, but I reckon you're overselling the Q4's range. Well, this thing is going to come in like at 18 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, quite reasonable for such a hefty car. So all you simply do, divide one into the other, and you're going to be getting only about best case scenario, 427 kilometers from the bigger battery version. So please don't set up customers to hate you, to dislike you, to put on social media. My brand new EV, which I was very excited to get to help the environment, can't do the number of kilometers Audi says it can. Yeah? Can we just all agree that car makers should try to put realistic kilometers in their adverts? I think so. Soapbox over. Back to the specs. The entry-level Q4 e-tron 35 has a single electric motor capable of producing 125 kilowatts of power and 310 newton-meters of torque. The mid-tier in the Q4 e-tron 40 has 150 kilowatts and 310 newton-meters, but the fun version will no doubt be the higher tier level model, the Q4 e-tron 50 Quattro, which offers 220 kilowatts of power and 460 newton-meters of torque through dual electric motors. This car will have a 0 to 100 time of 6.2 seconds. On board, you've got a charger that's actually able to accept 100 kilowatts to 125 kilowatts for the 40 and 50 Quattro models. To me, this car certainly ticks a lot of boxes, particularly in the interior. Featuring a 500-watt Sonos 10-speaker audio system, the modern futuristic cabin has a 10.1 and 10.25-inch infotainment and digital instrument cluster. Previously, I've covered its augmented reality heads-up display, which looks pretty cool, but Bjorn noted that it's still a work in progress and not good, or it doesn't actually work rather, on roundabouts. Available from June in most markets of the world except Australia, this EV will cost in the US $45,000, Europe €41,900, and the UK £40,750. So my guess for Australia for the entry-level model is going to be at least $80,000 to $90,000. I've been watching lots of comparison videos lately of the differences between the California-built Tesla Model 3 versus the Shanghai Tesla version, and from what I can make out, they're near identical, with perhaps panel gaps not so bad on the Chinese version, and the newer interior looking pretty nice indeed. But the big difference between them is its battery. The US version features a nickel manganese aluminum unit, whereas the Chinese version has a lithium iron phosphate battery. This battery type can and should actually be charged at 100% regularly, whereas the American NCA model is recommended to only be charged at 80% and only 100% when you're going to be driving off immediately for that big trip, hopefully once in a blue moon. So I came across this article, and it's actually quite a fascinating dive into the differences between both cars, thinking about the batteries. And before I go any further, comment below, which car do you think is actually going to do better in terms of supercharging, being able to do a quicker charge, versus, let's say, the efficiency of how well it actually drives, the watt hours per kilometre? Put it down below. I'll wait. Okay, so science has helped us out a little bit here, and I'll just go over some very quick numbers to help you understand that, well, it seems like a fair fight. They are both equipped with the same brand and size of tyres. Climate was set to 22 degrees, and you're going back to the tyres, I think they had them both at 45 psi. Both cars had 2 occupants in them, and on efficiency, the Shanghai Giga model averaged 15.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, whereas the California version came in at 14.9. Now, the article suggested this may have been due to tyre age, but I think it might have been due to the driver who was, well, online now. Nigel, hey, thanks for joining me.
Hi, Chris.
Hey.
Thanks very much for asking me.
Yeah, thank you. Look, this is a great article and a good little study on the differences between the 2 different Model 3s, that is like the California built versus the Shanghai. And I've got some questions about, okay, how you're obviously one of these guys who was helping this review, this comparison rather. And how much state of charge did you start with? And were you both the same?
We were almost the same. Mine started for the journey down at about 55%, and Alex's started closer to 60%. We needed about 40 to 41% to get down to the supercharger at Eton, the only one in WA. And we drove around a little bit, went down the highway at 110, drove around a little bit so that we were both under 20% sufficiently so that we could plug it in and start timing charging from 20 to 90%.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And so, do you think a factor that might have been here was that, well, one, the amount of remaining capacity had left in the car, or what do you think might have been at play here?
Well, the efficiency going down was fairly close. I think it was only about 4 or 5 kilowatt hours per kilometre on the journey down. We'd set everything identical: the cruise control, the air conditioning, tyre pressures we checked. We had the same number of people in the car. We had 2, a driver and a spotter, to take a few pictures. And we basically drove within sight of each other the whole way, trying to keep sufficient distance between us or any vehicle in front so as not to use the drag along effect. So, if we came up behind a truck or something, we'd pull out and try and get past it, and basically sat with the cruise control at the speed limit the whole way.
Okay. So essentially, it did sound like a very a fair sort of comparison in that you had a lot of things matched up there. And to me, I just thought that, well, the only difference here is maybe the amount of charge you came into the supercharging session with, and also how warm the battery might have been.
We both preconditioned the battery, so we navigated to it, and we both noted battery preconditioning had started for when we got there. I arrived with about 12%, I think 11 or 12%, and Alex arrived with about 17%. I think I can't quite remember.
Gotcha.
The only difference is the weight of the cars and the tyres. Mine are 38,000 Ks. His are 1,500 Ks.
All right. Okay. And that makes a difference how?
Apparently with the rolling resistance. The older your tyre, the lower the rolling resistance.
Okay. So it actually goes along easier, that is to say.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So somebody has suggested that we put them up on jacks, swap the tyres over, and then repeat it. Mine with the new tyres on.
Sure.
I did suggest then afterwards I just drive away and not give them back, but
that's a cruel thing to be doing to anybody.
Cruel, yes.
Yes, definitely. And I guess look, that's probably realistically the difference here is that his battery is more energy dense, so I think it actually is a lighter car compared to your car.
No, his is approximately, depends upon which figures you get, but it's around the 100 to 150 kilos heavier, his car with the LFP batteries. Yes.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Oh, this is still
he's got more cells in his car than mine because his are less energy dense, so he needs more cells to get the same 50 kilowatts.
Gotcha. All right. Okay, understood. Okay. All right. Well, look, thanks for that. And, hope you're all well over there in WA.
We're fine. Thanks very much, Chris. And thanks for asking me on.
All right. Cheers. Thanks, Nigel.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, thanks very much, Nigel. And look, guys, if you are in the market for a Tesla Model 3, X, or S, consider using Nigel's link down below for some free Tesla charging super miles. Yeah, do that. Pay it forward, definitely. So, in terms of supercharging, I'm thinking it's got to be like a pretty close fight, right? They came in with near identical bottom ranges, and they spent roughly the same amount of time supercharging. The US build took only 33 minutes and the Chinese build 32 minutes. And I was speaking to Nigel about this, and they might have actually been realistically close because they weren't counting seconds, they were just counting minutes. And let's say maybe one was 32 minutes and 59 seconds and the other one was 33 minutes and 1 second. So they were pretty much neck and neck. As you can see from this table, whilst the US model started faster, it quickly fell behind the Chinese version. Was that because it had more capacity to fill, so it kept charging speed higher as it was lower on arrival? So I got digging, and here's what I found out about the benefits of shifting to LFP batteries. They have a much longer shelf life and cycle life of 10,000 cycles. They're non-toxic, cobalt-free, and nickel-free. They're cheaper to make and more stable, being less prone to thermal runaway and safe when fully charged. They're very consistent at the discharge rate, that is, they actually exhibit less power, it's lost as they run into the lower areas, and they also have a lower internal resistance. That means they can actually deliver power faster than lithium-ion batteries. It also should mean higher charge or discharge efficiency, so it can accept more power from a charger when compared to the traditional lithium-ion batteries. So isn't that fascinating? The conversation around which car's better, which battery technology is better, is, well, it seems moot to me. It really does. The benefits of going with the LFP are good insofar as it removes some metals that have some potential. Let's not talk about that sort of stuff. But conversely, there's the benefits I can see of going with the lithium-ion ones. But I don't know. Or what do you think? Let us know. Time for a quick round of upcoming events. This week, starting April 20, Earth Day 2021 launches with a Global Youth Climate Summit. Then, on April 21, a global summit will be held on a theme for Teach Global Education. This event will actually focus on the crucial role that educators play in combating climate change and why we need a transformative climate education program. And on April 22, that's actually Earth Day proper, by the way, that's probably going to be a good time to reflect on this vessel that we call Mother Earth.
There's a place in our universe, a marble spinning in a vacuum. It contains life. It contains us. It may look solid and enduring, but now we can see it differently. Across time, living and breathing. Across time, we can see that we, all of us, are changing this place faster than ever before. We can see the impact of the way we live. Of the choices we make. And see their consequences. There's a place in our universe. How we decide to treat it today will determine our future. What will you think? What will you do when you see our world changing before your own eyes?
This year's theme, Restore Our Earth, acknowledges that coming out of COVID-19 and the multifaceted impact that had, Earth Day 2021 looks to activities like education, youth programs, and more to avoid massive disasters from climate change and environmental destruction by helping to restore our Earth. Apple has announced its spring-loaded event on April 20, and Samsung is not far behind them on April 28 with their Galaxy Unpacked. On Friday last week, Tesla community exploded because of Tesla Model 3 price drops. Using Victorian prices, the Standard Range Plus is now $68,094. And that's about a $4,000 drop. And this is drive-away prices, guys. And that's, well, already significant because it's gone beneath that $70,000 barrier and it's actually cheaper, I think. Yes, I think it definitely is, than the Hyundai Kona Highlander. So, man, it's going to be a bit of a hard decision for some people right now. Additionally, the long range has had a big price drop by about, $5,000 to $84,298. That's great, very good. Good job, Tesla. And then the huge one here is the performance one, and that's $554. Again, about another $4,000 to $6,000 or $7,000. I'm not sure. I think it's about $6,000 or $7,000. I think it was. You can correct me. I know you will. So this is great, and yeah, I can get some people who do like this right now and they're staying red and they're angry like, I just got my Model 3 and yeah, I get that. But, this is Tesla. They do this. If the Australian to the American dollar goes up and down, they follow it. They're not always very timely with it. And there's been a lot of people asking Elon of late, hey, Elon, when's our price correction coming? And we saw in Japan how they actually got a price drop over there and sales boom, didn't they? And this is going to do the same for Tesla in Australia as well. And hey, if you actually do have a deposit down right now, you put your order in and you're due for yours to arrive in, June, August, September, whatever the next quarter is. That's how Tesla works, by the way. Tesla will actually honor this brand new price. So don't worry, you're going to save a little bit of coin and it's going to be reflected in your final payout figure. So, hey, good job, Tesla. Thanks for doing this. Every Aussie is very happy right now. The wraps are finally off the new Mercedes EQS. This all-new luxury car is an electric version of the latest S-Class, or as an alternative car such as the Tesla Model S, Porsche Taycan, and the Audi e-tron GT. To me, this car is amazing. Check out actually MKHD's interior tech video on it. It's, outside, it's a little bit meh. I mean, look, come on. The entire front of this thing is, the entire car rather, is one massive curve. And it just seems to fall off in parts. I don't know. I don't like it, but others might. Being a high-end luxury car, this thing is kitted out with lights everywhere. The daytime running lamps, rear lights, and puddle lights on the presenting door handles get my juices going. But I guess looks are subjective, so if you like the look of this thing, that's awesome. Seriously, no judgment here. On the inside, the Mercedes EQS has one of the most futuristic interiors I have ever seen in a car. Starting off with that huge hyperscreen infotainment system, it's an optional extra and actually looks like one massive screen, but it's actually 3 screens. The driver has a 12-inch screen, there's a huge 18-inch touchscreen in the center, and the front passenger gets 12-inch display as well. And let's not forget rear passengers who also get a pair of 12-inch screens. Excellent. And this is something I was actually hoping to see in the refreshed Tesla Model S and X 2022 models. Maybe 2023? The new EQS is longer and taller than the S-Class. Roomy, luxury, high-end, it's all here. Seats that are 8 ways adjustable. They have 10 different massage programs. The doors automatically open and they close when you put your foot on the brake. Tesla Model X, anybody? Battery, motors, performance, they're all pretty good, but again, not at Tesla level. The Mercedes EQS will come with a 108 kilowatt-hour battery as standard, which gives it 764 kilometers of range. Maybe that explains its looks, because seriously, again, it's just too round and too smooth, and I know the coefficient drag is like extremely low here, but come on, sometimes, I don't know. Anyway, at launch, the EQS will actually be available in 2 different forms, either the rear-wheel drive EQS 450 Plus or the all-wheel drive EQS 580 4MATIC. 4MATIC? Really, Mercedes? It's got one gear, so it's time to retire your Ice Age heritage and get on with the 2020s. The entry-level 450 model produces 245 kilowatts of power and 568 newton meters of torque and can do 6.2 seconds from 0 to 100. The EQS 580 has 385 kilowatts and 855 newton meters of torque for a 4.3 second 0 to 100 time. Charging is a very respectable super fast 200 kilowatts, and you can either opt for the 11 kilowatt or pay for the 22 kilowatt onboard charger. I haven't seen any driving videos yet, or rather, I haven't actually checked out Matt Watson's from Car Wow, his car review on it. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this car goes because, well, for some people, badge is everything, prestige is everything, and this is going to fit the bucket list. So yeah, great. If you can afford it, good for you. It would be good to see this car on the road. Price in Australia and availability is not yet known, but Mercedes did say that it's going to be a worldwide car and it's going to be available very soon for those overseas. And finally, a quick update on full self-driving for Australia. And no, again, Australia is no closer to getting beta FSD anytime soon. But my American friends, listen up. Elon tweeted on April 15 that major improvements are being made to the vision stack every week. Beta button hopefully next month. This is a march of nines, trying to get probability of no injury above 99.9999% of miles for city driving. Production autopilot is already above that for highway driving. Now, this is exciting, and as it means that several video cameras, some serious CPU power, and some very clever software is near level 4 autonomy, kind of. It's not actually true level 4 because you still actually have to have your hands on the phone and be paying attention, and you're responsible for the car. But if we could take that away, that is seriously impressive. For those who are a little bit unsure about what I'm talking about here in terms of this feature rolling out further, Elon did say a while back that they would actually extend the beta program that's currently in testing in America and available to 1 to 2,000 very lucky Americans. He's actually said that, hey, we're going to add like a beta button, like give me beta button in the very near future. But look, there's always some caveats here. And look, whilst Elon is more confident that adding that elusive request FSD button is going to be happening soon, we need to remember that in early March he said this, probably 2 or 3 weeks. Then in mid-March he said this, significant release will be in April. So again, I'm excited and I too want to see this on our roads as soon as possible. But remember folks, 1, at the moment, this is for our American colleagues only. And 2, this is Elon time. So actual rollout might be a few months for my American friends. And again, I'm still going with early 2022 for Australia. Okay, that gets us to the end of another episode. I do hope you've enjoyed it and well, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, think about subscribing, leave us a little comment, think about joining over here on Patreon, and otherwise, you be good and you be green.
I was born in the city, I was raised on its edges. My pop worked his life on its complex. I found love in its center. If I could live here forever, think it'd be for the better. I love the weather, even though it's fog 24/7. I love the people. This is the city I met all my best friends, and I wanna thank every brick. I wanna thank every